Then there is the other phenomenon which we haven't really talked about, which is the phenomenon of being aware of what's going on, but saying, you know what, it's going to sort of resolve itself anyway, one way or the other. I'm just not going to bother. I'm going to do my thing, and I'm just going to do what I enjoy. I'm going to do my work and things like that, which is tempting. Yeah. I find it tempting as a position, but I'm just not able to be that person. Although in some ways it would make sense. What do you think about that?
It's not an option though, is it really?
But I know people who do that. I know people usually it's people who have quite a lot to lose. Right. Rather than gain. So maybe ultimately there's often a equivalence of gain or lose, which includes one's own self-worth, one's own self-esteem.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Can you sleep at night? Are you comfortable with how you've acted during the day? When we know that there is suffering, there's great suffering in the world being caused by all manner of things. It's not an option just to ignore it. How we deal with it is that's what we're talking about. That's the whole nuanced debate. But it's. Are
you ever tempted to just?
No, no, because that's what I mean. It's not an option, is it? I mean, for some people, maybe it is an option, but for most people, it just isn't, because we're hardwired, I think. It was interesting. I was talking to Jackie Devoy about it, and she was sort of quite self-deprecating. She's saying, I think of myself as a selfish person. And yet she's doing all this advocacy work for people who have had families killed by the state. And she said, well, it's not because I'm a good person, it's because I just couldn't live myself if I didn't do it. I was like, well, that's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, we're just hardwired to interact with the world, and maybe at a certain age we just go, okay, I've done my thing, now I'm just going to chill. But that's a different stage, I think.
I think that's what Bob Dylan is doing.
Maybe. But, I was a big Dylan fan, but
I think once you're 80 plus,
I think it's fair enough.
You may. But what I try and point out is that the inside sleeve cover of the last album has a very explicit person in sort of Rockefeller-like suit with a skeleton holding it up, holding a syringe, and a hanged man in the back, and with the words "false prophet" on it.
How strange you should say that, because I saw that image and I was like, oh, he's cottoning on, or he's awake or whatever. And no one, I mentioned it to him, no one had ever seen that or heard of it.
Yeah, because people don't buy physical albums anymore.
Oh, okay, so it was just
I've got the vinyl, and so I take it out and I look at it.
Interesting. I saw that image and I thought, I'm never going to be able to find that image again. I didn't know. Right, so I know where to look now.
It's the inside sleeve of the last album.
Okay.
And so there's knowing how much artists put awareness into the artwork for their albums, he's definitely put it there for a reason.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
And even if the songs were recorded prior, because usually the songs are done prior and then the artwork comes last, by the time he put the artwork, he was definitely aware enough of what's going on to put that with the writing "false prophet," which again, when you listen to the song, you kind of almost think maybe it's not about that, but the artwork does say that there's an awareness that is possibly going on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some of these industries, like music industry and film industry, are very much controlled by people we try and contrast. So sometimes there's a huge price to pay when you open your mouth.
Yeah.
And maybe if you're 80 plus and maybe you've got your own back catalogue that you're ready to sell for X million, then maybe you think I'll just get the money and pass it on to my family rather than create havoc now. Or at that age, perhaps you do that.
Yeah. But some don't. So
some don't.
Clapton and Van Morrison, Ian Brown, they would be the three that spring to mind.
Yeah.